Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Military Forces Unleashed, your go-to spot for everything tactical, techie, and, let's be honest, badass. Today we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing pieces of military tech to ever take flight, the EA-18G Growler. This thing doesn't just fly, it rules the skies when it comes to electronic warfare. So buckle up, because in today's video, we'll break down why the Growler is an absolute monster in the world of electronic attack and how it's shaping the future of modern warfare. All right. Before we get all high-tech and geek out over the Growler's insane capabilities, let's rewind a little bit. The EA-18G Growler is a modified version of the FA-18F Super Hornet, which itself is a beast of a fighter jet. Developed by Boeing and first introduced in the early 2000s, the Growler took the already powerful Super Hornet and turned it into an electronic warfare powerhouse. Now, what makes the Growler stand out? Well, its job is to destroy, disrupt, or confuse enemy radar and communication systems. Imagine being able to silence your enemy's tech from miles away. It's basically the military equivalent of turning off someone's Wi-Fi in the middle of a heated video game battle. No radar, no communications. You're basically in the dark. And the coolest part? The Growler isn't some new kid on the block. This aircraft evolved from decades of electronic warfare experience. The U.S. Navy saw the need for a next-gen electronic attack platform, especially after realizing how vulnerable adversaries were becoming to advanced radar systems. So, they took the reliable FA-18F and threw in some next-level electronics. Now let's dive into what makes the Growler a total monster. First off, let's talk about its armament. Unlike a typical fighter jet, the Growler doesn't carry bombs or missiles. Instead, it's packed with jammers, radar systems, and communication disruptors. Its primary weapon? The ALQ-99 Tactical Jamming System, a high-powered electronic warfare system that jams enemy radar and communications. This thing can basically turn enemy tech into a useless pile of scrap, and it does it with style. Then there's the design. The EA-18G keeps the FA-18F's fighter jet design, but adds a whole new level of tech sophistication. With a top speed of over 1,900 kilometers per hour, it's fast and highly maneuverable, giving it the agility needed to get in and out of hostile airspace quickly. The Growler can operate in tandem with other aircraft, working as a support plane to shield strike jets or even other Growlers from enemy detection. Think of it like the defensive lineman in football. The Growler is there to protect the rest of the team. Technology and innovations are at the core of the Growler's dominance. The EA-18G is armed with sensors and communication systems that can talk to other aircraft and ships, creating an entire network of electronic warfare. It uses digital radar jamming, which is more precise and effective than anything before it. With advancements in technology, it can even disrupt enemy missile guidance systems, making it an invaluable asset in any major conflict. Imagine facing off with an enemy who can't even see you coming. Yeah, that's the Growler in action. Let's not forget how the Growler is portrayed in pop culture. You might have seen it making cameo appearances in movies like Iron Man 2, where it's presented as a high-tech military asset that can do anything. It's not just Hollywood fluff either. This plane's real-life capabilities are just as wild as they look on screen. So, let's get into how the Growler has made a real impact on military conflicts. This beast was tested extensively in combat operations, from the Iraq War to more recent operations in the Middle East. The Growler's primary strength? It disrupts and destroys enemy radars before the bad guys even know it's there. One of the most significant examples of the Growler's power came in Operation Odyssey Dawn during the 2011 NATO-led intervention in Libya. The Growler was instrumental in jamming Libyan radar systems, making it incredibly difficult for their air defense systems to lock onto NATO aircraft. In simpler terms, it cleared the skies for other attack jets to do their work without worrying about anti-aircraft missiles ruining their day. Think about it. You've got a Growler flying overhead, shutting down radar and communications, while a squadron of fighter jets swoops in undetected to take out targets. That's the kind of magic this plane brings to the table. It's not just about flying, it's about creating an invisible battlefield that leaves enemies defenseless. All right, enough with the praise. Let's be real. While the Growler is an absolute powerhouse, it's not invincible. For starters, the maintenance is a nightmare. These planes aren't cheap to operate. Between the jamming systems, radar, and all the technology on board, keeping a Growler running is a logistical headache. And don't even get me started on the fuel consumption. It's like a teenager raiding the fridge at 2 a.m. during a growth spurt, constant and insatiable. Then there's the vulnerability factor. Yes, the Growler is an electronic warfare legend, but it's still a fighter jet, meaning it can get shot down. Electronic jamming systems are highly effective, but they don't make the Growler invincible. Plus, the Growler's design makes it a prime target for enemy air defenses when it's operating in hostile airspace. There's also the controversy surrounding the cost. The Growler is a luxury item in terms of military spending, and not every country can afford to deploy one of these. And yet, it's one of the key assets in modern warfare, which raises the question, should we be investing so much in these specialized planes, or is it a case of putting all our eggs in one very expensive basket? So, in the end, what makes the EA-18G Growler the king of electronic warfare? It's its ability to dominate the electronic battlefield like no other plane out there. It can neutralize enemy tech before they even know it's coming. It's a force multiplier in every sense of the word. But like any tool of war, it's not without its flaws. It's expensive, it's maintenance heavy, and it's not invincible. But when it works like a charm. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think the Growler's dominance in electronic warfare is enough to justify its costs? Or are there other platforms that should take its place? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I'm curious to know what you think. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the EA-18G Growler, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your friends who love military tech as much as you do. Also, if you've got any burning questions or thoughts about the Growler or any other military tech, drop them in the comments. Let's get this conversation going, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in today, guys. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us keep bringing you the kind of content you love. Stay tuned, stay curious, and as always, stay unleashed.